I cannot believe we are finally here. Hello, everyone. It is your host, B-Champ, and this is the grand finals of Critter Clash 3. With me, I have a very special guest, Davo.
That's correct. I'm very happy to be here and very excited to see this series between two juggernauts of the scene. Uh, it's all led up to this.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, we have Mutt versus Nisperox. Mutt is coming from the losers brackets, and Nisperox, of course, just plowing his way through all three parts of Critter Clash into the winners brackets. And this is going to be a best of 5 sets. If Mutt wins this best of 5 sets, the bracket resets, and there's going to be another best of 5 before he can claim the title of champion for Critter Clash 3. Otherwise, if Nisperox wins the best of 5, then he takes it all and Mutt's out of the tournament, and Nisperox will be the champion.
Right.
So,
It's all to play for here. Mutt is facing an uphill battle, of course, but that's the advantage you get from Furnace Proc staying in the winners bracket. So this is a very special map. So what do you expect to see on Face Off here, B-Champ?
face off, I'm really excited. I picked this map for the grand finals because it is always
There's no
intense.
telling what
There's
evil
so
plans
much
are
that goes
underneath our
on
cloak,
face
but we
off.
can put a stop to
It's
them by
very tight
taking out their
quarters,
labs.
and I expect that Mutt is going to have a little bit of advantage on this map. I haven't seen Nisprox play on it, actually. I don't believe Nisprox has really had very many games here, right? In the tournament so far?
I don't think so. I haven't followed Miss Brox's games too closely. I know he's smashed them all, and we can see that he's going for a no rod start initially, while
Yeah,
Mutt immediately built his lightning rod. So
but look at the difference. Mutt has lab downtime right now. Not building henchmen, and Nisprox has not had any lab downtime yet. So Nisprox will have a lead on henchmen. Now, is that going to be enough compared to this rod immediately at the start?
yeah, it's really hard to tell. I haven't done any of the math on it. So just off the cuff like this, I don't know. We're gonna have to see how it plays out. But we're gonna see Nisprox start to move out, and he's doing a sort of scouting rod. But I think this is just keeping his hench busy as he walks towards his expansion.
Yeah,
Surprisingly, no scouting so far.
yeah. Mutt hasn't done any scouting. He is building a second rod now,
This is
and
unusual for Mutt. Mutt is typically a strong scouter, and now we see him moving out of his base with two henchmen. Nisprox, meanwhile, returned to the coal, so he clearly wasn't ready to expand at that point, but now he is. So both players hitting their expansion at very similar times. Mutt perhaps a little bit ahead, but he's going to have to walk back to build a workshop, and they're waiting. These henchmen are now waiting.
Mutt's
There he is,
50% to
250
2.
coal. Yeah,
And
so
Nisprox is going to take a little bit of time to get there. And so if Mutt's able to get out a chamber and some cheetah scorps, which I assume he will do very promptly,
yeah,
then
here
I
comes the chamber.
think he's going to be in a really good spot
Absolutely,
to.
and Nisprox responding with another rod. I mean, one the weakness of his build order so far is that the very late workshop means he wasn't able to convert. So he's gonna be behind on his level 2 timing, but he's started it now.
Mhm.
So we're gonna see what happens.
Oh, what are these?
Oh, these are fascinating. These are so cheap.
Wow.
Wow, look at that. Bears?
Infest. These are a
Yep.
classic unit, actually. These have been around for quite some time. And uh,
New and improved though.
yeah, absolutely new and improved now that they have Barrier Destroy.
And here
And
comes
these are what?
oh Coyote Komodo dragons.
Yes,
These are
Koyagons.
very nice.
Another classic. Going for the Infest on a workshop, that's interesting. That can help
Yeah,
take out, uh, and also going for the chamber, but that can
yeah,
take out his ability to convert if Nisprox loses that workshop.
yeah, and it's going down pretty fast. Nisprox hasn't
Mm-hmm.
reacted to this. I wonder how much he's played against Infest. It has not been popular, particularly while he's been playing the game. So
Yeah.
he has
Oh,
so far ignored it. And yeah, Mutt's gonna take down the workshop. That's huge.
that is Nisprox's ability to convert completely gone. And look at all these coyotes just coming in and cleaning up shop. I don't know, these
There's
warthogs, they look like they're rallied to somewhere far away because they are not being microed well.
yeah.
And it's not doing
Nisprox
anything. Oh,
is
the rally
desperate enough to
point.
break out the hench punch here. So, but the regen is going to really help out Mutt's units.
Wow, that Warhawk was doing nothing for so long because of the wrong rally point. That's gonna
Oh
really
yeah,
damage Nisperox.
that is
And this
painful.
chamber is going to go down.
Yeah, it's been infested. Mutt
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been able to infest any of these rods yet, but here come the infestors.
Yeah,
And
Mutt working 2 chambers. It's continuing his expansion. I mean, this is clearly a Mutt game.
yeah, Mutt
Um,
is in really good shape now, forcing Nisprox to repair. So Nisprox is mining from 3 coal piles and has lost a bunch of henchmen. And now
yeah,
the hyenas are coming out, and Nisprox recognizes it, calls the game. GG.
wow. There it comes. That is a decisive Mutt victory on face-off. Absolutely incredible. And I
Yeah.
really think that shows the power of the different build orders that they used, because Nisperox just went a really, really slow too. We look at his level 2 time, a minute slower than Mutt. Mutt had way more time to get those units up and get an early edge, and also he was running 2 chambers towards the
Yeah,
middle
and I
of his
mean,
rush then.
I think something else that you can see in Mutt's army choice is just how cheap his units are. 118 coal is barely more than a henchman. The 28 electricity is
Hmm.
not quite negligible, but when you're immediately committing to unit production, you can make that work just fine. And so ultimately, being able to flood out these units in constant production immediately after hitting level 2 um, put way too much pressure on Nisprox, who just was a little too greedy. And so that's a really interesting game one. Not necessarily what you expect on face-off. Early rushes can usually be defeated pretty effectively. So
Yeah,
now we
and
get
early rushes are hard to pull off, right? Because the coal is farther away, people just aren't used to the build orders. But Mutt still pulled off a very reasonable level 2 time, 245, and was able to keep up really good production, and on top of that, pulled out Infest, which is always refreshing to see.
yes, and I mean this is pretty exciting way for the grand finals to start because now we get to see immediately Nisprox. He's gonna have to dip into his bag. He's gonna have to make his map pick, and thanks Sniper telling us to join, which is very welcome. And we
And
shall see
I don't
whether
know
this
about
is
you, but when
goes
something of
good.
mine gets infested, I kind of freak out. I feel like the mind games with Infest are very, very strong.
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, it really it forces you to to do things you might not necessarily want to do. I mean, Nisprox had to choose between punching with his henchmen and repairing, and it's gonna be interesting. So Nisprox making his selection and he's choosing vacation, which is I in the previous cast I called it the Dust 2 of of Impossible Creatures 1v1 maps, and yeah, this is the classic map. Nisprox has played this plenty of times before, so um, yeah, I
So is
think we're
Mutt.
gonna.
This is a really tough pick. This could be anyone's game. Nesprox, of course, really amazing on this map, but so is Mutt. Mutt's been around for so long, playing Vacation since the dawn of time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this is just a reflection of Nisprox wanting to play a standard game.
Hmm.
He got caught out by an unusual strategy, and now coming back to vacation, he's seen all the tricks. He's played this so much. Um, it's hard to imagine Mutt pulling something completely unexpected. Um, so I think Nisprox just wants to get back to what he knows works. He's confident he can beat Mutt in a regular game, and so we'll see whether that plays out as the game starts.
Yeah, not to mention that he has beat Mutt in a regular game in the past, right? Which is in this tournament. Nisprox beat Mutt.
Absolutely. All right, he's already done it this tournament. He's done it in the past. Um, so we're gonna have to see whether that holds true. Whether Mutt has even more tricks planned. Um, but
After we
yeah,
take
this
out
I'm
the enemy
very
lands,
happy to
this
see
island would make for
uh,
some nice beachfront property.
Mutt start out strong, and we've really got a series on our hands. Nisprox isn't rolling through everything, so standard build order from Nisprox with the lightning round now in the green.
Hmm.
Interesting choice. And Mutt also standard lightning round timing, it seems. So very very similar build orders so far.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a standard game on Vacation. I really don't anticipate anything crazy going on. and it's hard to pull off crazy tactics. There's only a few handful of crazy tactics that I've seen come out on vacation, and neither really from either of these players. So here's the
Yeah,
classic scouting hench that we were
absolutely.
missing in the last round, last
Yeah, I
match.
mean, this is a really important thing to do on vacation because it's a small map and the expansion. There's only two expansions, and they're both extremely powerful in different ways. So knowing what your opponent is doing early is a really big help. And Mutt going for this fence, so he wants the
Mm-hmm.
safer expansion, and he wants to be able to attack the wider open expansion later. So we're gonna see what happens. Nisperox cheekily waiting for Mutt's scout to disappear before immediately building the rest of his rods and setting up for
Wow.
the generator. Nisperox definitely wants to hit 2 as quickly as he can and have plenty of electricity when he does it. Uh, we saw in his previous game that he was running 50 electricity level 2 units, so we're gonna see whether, and that's just a hallmark of his playstyle. So he really does need this electricity. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's already most of the way to 2, and he's
Mutt's a little bit
conquered
behind
this
him.
expansion very quickly.
Yeah, he really pushed strong for that, and it looks like he's going to take this top geyser as well. Mutt will be down to claim the bottom geyser,
Yeah.
and
So
Nisperox now at 2 is going to put up the first creature chamber.
absolutely, he's got it up. Mutt started his first, but is only building with 2 hench. So,
And
and
here
here
comes
they
the
come.
Warthog.
Yeah, warthog cockroach. So much electricity. Nisprox really needs these generators to sustain this production, but these are very strong units. Uh,
Yeah,
and the herding hasn't even gotten here yet, uh, and they're already doing a number on Mutt's henchmen. The immediate uh, tower is going to really
oh,
help out.
yes, definitely.
So
And Mutt's easily going to be able to defend this. I mean, he has 2 chambers. He does have a workshop that he's been mining at for some time.
yeah,
Just getting
absolutely.
his geyser up now. Has a couple of scouting rods in middle. But
Yeah,
he does have
and
these regen units, which is going to be really helpful.
yeah, absolutely. And so Nisbrock's early probe recognizes what has happened here and backs out, which is definitely the smart play. Nisbrock's being forced to build a second creature chamber. He usually stays on fewer chambers but trickles production constantly. So Mutt has a production advantage if he can sustain it with the resources. Um,
Oh,
now
these eagle caterpillars are everywhere. I love them.
they are,
And it looks like they're
they
seeking
are,
the high ground bonus as well. Nisbrock's trying
yeah,
to pile units up on this upper platform to get that 25% damage increase from being on the high
yeah.
ground.
I think in terms of artillery units at level 2, we're gonna see eagle caterpillars, and at level 3, we're gonna see beluga rattlesnakes. I don't anticipate these players using anything else as artillery in this series. Interesting that Nisprox has fenced his lab as well, so Mutt is not going to have any kind of aggression available anytime soon up north. Everything's going to be happening in this southern quadrant.
Yeah, I actually think that Mutt has the opportunity now to raid that upper geyser. He doesn't know that Nisbrox has that fence there, but if he were to scout it out, then he would know that Nisbrox would have a hard time defending that upper geyser, at least with
Yeah,
units around the
absolutely.
front side.
Yeah, absolutely. However, as this
Wow,
water
those
chamber shows,
caterpillars can hit that generator? Is that
yeah, yeah. I was seeing that myself. They're able to stand on
what?
the beach and hit the generator, which is ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. What is the range on these guys? So Caterpillar, of course, having some of the longest range, 37 range distance. Wow, that's 37?
37. Yeah. Yeah, wow, that's way shorter than I expected. I thought you would need a lot more than that to
Yeah, oh my
Mutt
gosh.
is, being forced to build a water chamber inside the waterfall,
I think
and,
that's just so
right now
cute. I love that.
yeah,
Really nice spot for the chamber here. And it looks like he is breaking through the fence up top and trying to attack. Good thing Nisbrox
yeah,
put this fence here. That
yeah,
henchman
absolutely.
is getting wrecked right now, though.
Yeah,
Does lose that henchman.
yeah,
That's too
and
bad.
Nisperox reacting to the pressure, sending some units back, but, Mutt is in trouble here. I mean, he's got to defend this, and I mean, we're seeing Nisprox get the economic upgrades with these research clinics, getting
Hmm.
the genetic amplifiers. So Nisprox is a little bit ahead in terms of economy right now. So
He's
Mutt
gonna
needs
take
to
down
do
this
damage with
geyser
these.
in the water too. This geyser in the water is gonna go down,
Oh yeah,
and Nisbrox is gonna take that. That's gonna be a huge advantage. for him,
Yeah,
even though there's this attack on lab, Nisperox is going to be able to shake it off pretty easily.
yeah, absolutely. The ostrich. This is an this is what why are your ostrich bombardiers running into melee range? What are you doing?
I
What
don't
are
know what
you
he's doing.
doing?
This is bad
These
micro
are
on behalf of
artillery units. They're
Nisperox.
not melee.
Wow, that was embarrassing.
That's awkward. Mutt is busy doing the same thing, with his own artillery.
And
Despite how
Nisperox,
thin these snakes are, they're relatively beefy. But they're not going to survive versus these ram pythons.
oh,
So
absolutely not. Nisperox not opting to take this lower geyser quite yet. He's probably pretty distracted. This isn't Mutt's benefit.
yeah,
That Nisperox is
Mutt
distracted
is
at base.
Mutt is doing a great job of keeping the pressure up.
Hmm.
Interesting that Mutt is using ramigators instead of ram rattlesnakes.
He wants that
So
immune because Nisperox really crushed him last time with all the poison that Nisperox was using. Um,
yeah,
Nisperox had previously used on this map those octofrogs, which had poison touch as well as a bombardier range. That bombardier just
yeah,
died of its own poison.
yeah. Poisoned itself to death.
Hmm.
This is almost a Yagami setup with all these towers, but these ram pythons are pretty strong. So we're gonna see that poor tower that needed repairs. Now Nisperox has taken the geyser, so Nisperox has a decisive economic advantage right now,
Hmm.
and he's going to be pushing this top expo as well. So what is really up against it here? He needs to pull out something, and yeah, he recognizes it. Calls GG. Not going to play this out and get
Wow.
tired.
Yeah, that was
Move
that
on to
was
the
an
next
early
game.
GG. I'm gonna be real. That was pretty early, but I think it's fine that Mutt threw in this howl. Like we mentioned earlier in these streams, a lot of times these top players just they can tell 10
Yeah,
moves in advance, right? That they lost the advantage.
absolutely. I mean, you can see Mutt didn't have any kind of real pressure on Nisperox's base. He'd
Hmm.
already lost the generator, and Nisperox was starting to push in at Mutt's base, so there really wasn't much ways for Mutt to come back from that. He didn't have level 4 or anything, any kind
Yeah,
of trump card, and I mean
agreed.
you can see the
Look at the
resource difference
resources. Hmm.
is very significant. So that's a good counterpick from Nisperox, going back to a reliable choice and making it work for sure.
What do you think was the win there for Nisperox? Well, how did he
I
win
think
that game?
I think he won by just by having better economy going into level 2.
Hmm.
Um, he really focused on electricity early, which can get punished, but Mutt wasn't rushing. And then when he took the expansion at the same basically at the same time as Mutt did, but Mutt had to build his fence first. And I think that slowed him down enough that Nisprox just was able to snowball from there. So ultimately, I feel like maybe the decision to fence the expo up top was a bit of a mistake for Mutt. Um, I generally think that the player who takes the bottom expansion on vacation has the initiative, has the benefit of really dictating the tempo early on. Um, and this Prox was able to do that. I mean, Mutt, despite having 2 chambers, wasn't able to pressure the expansion at all. And from there, Nisprox just had free reign.
Yeah, I agree about that bottom expansion. I feel like it just has a little bit more access to attack that bottom geyser. And so if you have the bottom expansion, your enemy has that bottom geyser, then you have an advantage of being able to take that away from them.
I agree with that. And I mean, in this case, we even saw Nisprox was able to pressure it at level 2 with his
Hmm.
artillery,
That was
uh,
crazy.
which very
Absolutely
unexpected.
ridiculous. Yes.
Um, but but I mean, even without it, and the natural place to build the water chambers is right next to the enemy geyser. I mean, you really do get a lot from that bottom expansion. So
Yeah. I think it's a really
strong
nice
choice for
expansion.
good, and we're gonna see Mutt's counterpick of Sandbar. Is anybody surprised? No.
Not at all.
So
But I mean, this really could go anyone's direction. This is again a classic sandbar game. I feel like between Mutt and Nisprox, we've seen it time and time again.
absolutely. I mean, this is probably their. Yeah, this is I don't know that it's not their most played map because they played a ton of Midway versus each other back in the day. But since this has been built, I mean, these two are our finest pure swimmer aficionados. So I mean, I don't know what else there is to say about it. This is the quintessential pure swimmer map, and I think that's what we're gonna see.
Oh, it looks like I dropped.
Looks like you did.
I'll be right back. Just
So, yeah. So interestingly enough, we saw that in the lower bracket finals, Mutt chose Sandbar as his counter pick, and he lost on it
yeah.
to Gray, which is very surprising. I was watching that game live, and I was losing my mind, witnessing what Gray was doing. Um, so, oh, looks like ICO is having issues.
I'm gonna
We
take a
shall
quick
see.
pause on the recording.
Yeah.
All right, we are back for Game 3, 1-1 Mutt in Nisperox, and you have your host B Champ, and we also have Davo, just recently I.
So I'm still here. I'm
So,
still excited to see this.
do you think Nisperox is going to bring Tuniels? That's my question. Mutt has been very famously, it seems like, bringing Sonic, which seems to be the Tuniel counter, and it's been having mixed results. Honestly, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's not the $1 million question, but it's pretty close to it because that will really dictate the early levels. I think Mutt really believes in the unit combat power of these dolphins with regen that he's been using.
Oh,
But
what
he's
happened here?
struggled.
Here we go. Third time's a charm. We're recording again. Let's not disconnect. Fingers crossed.
Let's hope so.
ICO, we are going to work. Good vibes.
Come on, ICO. Let's
Yes!
go. All
Heck
right.
yeah. Nisperox in the cyan, Mutts over here in the dark blue as usual. This is going to be an exciting game.
Absolutely. This is just pure swimmer maps are their own brand of crazy, and I'm here for it. So Mutt coming out with the early rod, Nisprox as usual, as is often the case with him, choosing to mine with his hench for longer. So Mutt slightly ahead in electricity production, but not committing the second rod. So
Yeah, so
not going to.
the thing about
Yeah.
this map that I believe you mentioned on the cast with Gray and Mutts is that a lot of the action happens in this area where the geyser is, in the choke points by the two labs. And do you think that there are any other metas? Will that always be the natural meta for this map? Or is there a strategy where you want to bring some of the focus to these inner coal piles or maybe raiding on the outside rings?
Well, I think it's quite interesting to consider. I think we saw Gray probably employ the most successful some off meta strategy of using camouflage amphibious units that could attack radially all the way around the map at will.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really, really strong versus Mutt. That's what we saw versus Mutt. Um, but the issue with committing to sort of a fight on the inside is that it leaves your expansion very, very weak. And one interesting thing about Sandbar is there are only 4 total geysers, and so if you can't defend the one at your base, um, you're going to be massively behind because if you're fighting in the middle, you can control the center geyser, but you're not going to control this geyser, and you might lose this geyser, and that will put you so far behind. It's not really worth it. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see what happens. Mutt has it too and is now building 2 chambers while leveling up his economy. Nisprox already has his 4 rods, building his generator, but He has not hit 2, and he's not building chambers yet. So economic advantage for Nisperox initially.
Yeah, but Mutt's not going to
Alright,
be far behind, and it looks like he's also going to be going early with these, wow, chameleon tunas.
that's
I
right.
like this.
Yeah, this looks really nice. I mean, it's expensive, but the health is very significant.
Mm-hmm.
125. It's got 40 speed. And Nisperox brought the 2 so we can have a really good comparison.
Wow, I'm excited to see this. Mutt's
Yeah, this is
trickling these out maybe a little bit slower than he would with Tuniels, which are going to be much
absolutely.
spammier.
Oh, he needs to have the pack. He needs to
Oh,
have the pack.
yeah. Oh, no, he
No.
already lost one. Oh, but Nisperox retreated.
Yeah, Nisperox lost, I think, 3 or 4 units in that exchange. Just the sheer health disparity in this matchup is incredible.
Mm-hmm. And Mutt's
So Mutt's
regen
rally point
is
not
going to
close
help
enough.
a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. We can see that it's already. I mean, this Comuna, whatever it went down to, it's already back to being healthier than a Tuniel. So, Nisperox, is okay. So
Oh, he
Mutt
has
is chasing.
flash. Nisperox has flash. What?
Oh boy,
What?
this is
So he's gonna
this
flash his
is
own Tuniels,
wild.
and I feel like he's hiding his own flash units
Yeah,
inside of the Tuniels.
he is. But
Oh,
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 the
he
flash
gets it
went
off. He
off.
gets it
Oh, there it
off.
is. But I
So what's the
mean,
point of doing that though? He's flashing
he
his own.
doesn't have any. He doesn't really have melee units, so this is a little confusing.
Yeah, I mean he just
What?
gets damaged, and then the regen units are gonna regenerate. So
Yeah,
that's
I don't think that Mutt was or that Nisprox was expecting this unit at all. Um,
oh, the plague
these flash
also.
units don't really help. I mean, they have the same melee damage, but so much more health.
Mutt's
These
plague
are
unit, absolutely amazing and hilarious.
oh yeah,
And
that's
it's going.
fantastic.
Oh no, he didn't have the sight radius to see.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh no, because the keen sense from the rat would have been amazing to see this line from Nisprox, but he
Absolutely,
didn't
yeah,
quite go far enough. He could have seen it coming,
yeah.
and now he's
Is
going
he
to
gonna
plague
plague? He's
He
gonna
did
plague.
plague. The
Oh my
plague is
goodness,
off,
he's
and that's great. But I
that's
think Nisperox.
so many of these. These are just
Oh
gonna
my
all die,
gosh,
surely.
the Tunios
Mutt's
are.
not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mutt's okay. So this 4 HP, 2 HP, and 1 HP. Those two
Nisperox
deals. Very lucky to
going
get away with
in,
it.
but Mutt has the hench punch. Nisperox did some bad micro here and went for the wrong buildings, alerted
Oh
Mutt a little
yeah,
bit early that his units were attacking.
yeah. This barrier destroy though. I mean, these do 9 damage, so
He needs to take out
they're
this
gonna be pretty
geyser. He needs to
strong.
take out the geyser. He's going to the wrong place.
I think he does,
There we
but at the
go.
same time, if he comes to the geyser, these tuna are going to shred these cuttlefish. I mean, they're just not going to stop. I mean, this
Yeah.
generator might go down, but I mean, these are gonna die fast.
No, it's not going to go down.
Nisprox needs to flash, and he's not gonna do it. So,
Oh,
but he has
yeah.
used this opportunity to take over. I mean, this is pure swimmers, isn't it? He's used the opportunity to take over the generator and generator area, but Mutt has hit level 3, so this
Nisperox is half
is
of the way there.
yeah, this is pretty significant. I mean, Mutt needs to capitalize. He's got to get this economy under control. I mean, these two neos are just they're just moving out to die right now. Um, can Mutt build anything? He's got a central. He's building hammerhead chameleons, which are very strong, level 3 ranged. Once again, so he's gonna take out Nisprox's center generator, presumably, but he's rallied it down, and
Interesting.
now Nisprox
Oh,
rotating through the middle, and that well, at least Mutt knows, but this expansion is not long for the world. And meanwhile, Nisprox is still putting pressure on Mutt's lab, so I mean, despite the terrible unit matchup, I mean, Nisprox has really defended this well, and he's in a pretty advantageous position.
yeah, so air chamber coming out by Mutt. Nisperox now at level 3 and has these hammerhead octopus.
Oh,
Keen
wow.
Sense, Regeneration, Immune.
That's gonna be a strong unit right there.
Yeah, and no one has really had a firm grasp of this bottom left geyser. It seems like we're getting some more action in mid and kind of giving up on that bottom geyser, even though someone
Yeah,
could just snag
absolutely.
it for
It's
free.
very unusual, but we're seeing it happen. But yeah, I don't. Mutt's got some units up here, but they're not gonna beat this force.
No,
Um,
these level 3s are going to, should be able to take down Mutt's units.
ooh.
The Tunil's still coming in as the glass
Oh no,
cannons.
the Keen Sense is doing so much work. The poor Narwhal.
Oh yeah, that Narwhal is not going to do very well.
Yeah, that's
Nisprox having the perfect
very
counter.
smart from this point. Yeah, Nisperox bringing out these. I mean, they're not fast enough to catch the. They can catch the Narwhal, I think, but they can't catch the tunas. So it's gonna be interesting to see who upgrades their speed. I don't think. Okay, so genetic amplifier for Nisperox, but not for Mutt, as far as I can tell.
Mutt's going for that bottom geyser.
Yeah, absolutely. He has to take advantage of this because he is prevented Nisperox from taking this, and here come the Narwheels. So this generator is not going to survive very long, and Nisperox taking out this expansion. Oh, the hench can't even finish
Oh
the
yeah, these sound
tower.
beam
That's
towers
that's
unfinished.
pretty big. And
Yeah,
Mutt hasn't repaired his generator yet, so yeah, I don't know what Mutt's gonna have as an answer here. I mean, he's producing units, but economically, he's pretty far behind at this point.
I think Nisprox has a pretty big advantage right now. If he's able to take this generator, which it looks like he will, I really like these Narwhal Archerfish that Nisprox has brought out on the south.
Oh,
These
yeah,
artillery units with camo are going to do really good
yeah,
work
they have
against Mutt's
camo as
range.
well. And Mutt bringing out these deflection armor flyers with keen sense, which are really good matchup on pure swimmer maps in general uh, because most of the meta pure swimmer range are pretty glassy. But in this case, I mean, they're very expensive, and I don't think they're not gonna do enough versus Nisprox's current forces. So Mutt needs to take care of this this lobster cuttlefish and retake this expansion and also secure this generator. I mean, he's got a lot to do to catch up economically. If
Yeah,
he can
Nisprox has
take
been
these
sitting on
fights,
this middle gen for quite some time.
oh yeah, he's had it pretty much since the beginning of the game, and that has been most of the difference. I mean, I think I've liked Mutt's unit matchup for the most part much better, especially at level 2. But just the economic difference is so significant right now.
Yeah, I disagree with the unit matchup because these artillery units are just not great for Mutt right now. They're just getting chewed up by the Keen Sense
They
hammerheads, and I think
Don't
Nisprox's
get me wrong.
artillery just are going to be
Oh,
better.
this price that has 10 damage and 30 range. I mean, that's massive.
Yeah, they're incredibly
Compared to
good.
the Lammer guy only has 9 damage and shorter range. So
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And the Lammergeiers are more expensive.
yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, that's the health difference for sure.
hmm
But I mean, I think these melee units are really making the difference. Nisprox is really one of the best melee melee unit users in the entire scene, and he's microing them perfectly, using the regen, and just abusing the fact that beefy melee can do a lot of work if it gets close, even against range units.
Yeah,
Typical direct range counter is not so much a counter when the melee unit is actually in melee range.
yeah, absolutely. And they soak up damage for when these artillery just come in and take out all the range units. Because
Yeah,
it's totally worth it, even if you do lose some of your own units to friendly fire, but you can take out the entire squad of enemy range. It's going to be definitely worth it.
yeah, absolutely. And Mutt showing some good micro to back off, and he's able to sort of group up, and he's still producing. But I
Oh,
wonder if yeah,
Nisprox
Nisprox
has
is
this
looking at
bottom
for
gen.
Nisprox is almost was 2/3 of the way to level 4 at this point, and Mutt is not started it. So
Yeah,
yeah, this is dire straits.
the middle gen has been really strong. Nisprox keeping up pressure on the top base,
Yeah,
and
these trickled in camo units. I mean, the towers are going to take care of it. Mutt doesn't really need to react, but still annoying, still doing some damage. And in the meantime, these artillery, they match up so well with Mutt's fires because deflect doesn't work against artillery. And yeah,
Hmm.
seeing that level 4, I don't know what his reaction is going to be here because Nisprox has more of the map and he's level 4 and he's still producing some level 3s, but we're going to see level 4 units coming out soon.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what Mutt's going to do. I mean,
I don't think there's
he's
much he can do. He's just now taking this center right expo, which he's been
yeah,
foregone for
true.
such a long period of the game. And so for a while there,
Absolutely.
he was just way lower on electricity and coal production.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think the resource tab on this game is going to be very interesting.
yeah.
Uh, and I think once these units get taken out, he's probably going to give it up. And so now we know, yeah, the Electricant Squid was Nisprox's knockout punch.
Oh
But
yeah,
he
there
did
it
not
was.
need it.
Wow. Huge difference in score.
Yeah,
Resource
the
Mutt
combat score
actually
though is
had the advantage there. Wow.
yeah, that's surprising to me. But if you look at the electricity, he did not really have the advantage.
Yeah, not even
I don't know
close.
what kind of resource who did this because because if we look at the actual resources tab, it was not that close.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I guess that is a significant difference in coal. So I will retract that slightly. It's about what 1,000 coal difference, but I mean, look at the electricity difference. That is just way too much to overcome
Yeah,
in a
absolutely.
game like this. Especially when level power spikes are so strong. I mean, Nisprox ended up going to 2 into 3 slower, but with so much more economy to really sustain. So
But
yeah,
the genius of that play that Nisperox did was kind of something that I mentioned at the beginning was what if you changed the meta a little bit and attacked in the inside of the circle? And he
absolutely.
took away that far right expansion. And as well as having a pretty good unit matchup against Mutt, of course. But Mutt didn't take back that expansion for so long, which was his extra coal advantage because he had the top expansion,
Yeah.
and so he lost his coal advantage and allowed Nisprox to overtake him with electricity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, something we didn't manage to comment on during the game was the race for the mid generator. Mud had sent 2 henchmen, and Nisprox had 4. And so Nisprox, I believe, got the generator up before Mutt could really do anything about it. And then Mutt didn't ever have chambers on the in. Well, he had 1 chamber on the inside, but only at level 3, and just didn't take out the middle generator early enough. I think he really could have abused his level 2s a lot more than he did. I think if he goes back and reviews this game, he'll regret um, not making sure that he had a dominant economic position off the back of these chameleon tunas, which I think were very effective. So
Now we're in game 4. It
yeah,
is Nisperox 2 games, Mutt to 1 game. Thank you everyone for tuning in, whether you are on YouTube or live right with us now in the Discord. This
right.
is an epic battle. Nisperox up, of course he is coming from the winner's side of the bracket, so Mutt has to win 2 games in a row if he just wants to reset the bracket. Nisperox in a very comfortable position right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, if if I were Nispraxis and I wanted to try something a little crazy, I mean, this might be the game to do it. You've got a game advantage. You've got no real pressure, and Mutt has to handle everything perfectly from here
Yeah.
on out. So we got to see. We're gonna see Fuhrer. It seems Mutt choosing this map, another smaller map. Not choosing to opt into a macro battle versus Visprox. And why don't you tell us a little bit more about Fuhrer?
This is one of my favorite maps, made by LB Frank, and I think the design is just genius because there don't really feel like safe expansions on this map. By the lab
There's no telling what
immediately,
evil plans our enemies have
even
afoot,
your
but we
generator
can put a
that you
stop
have
to
on
them
this
by
cliff
taking out
is
their
easily
labs.
attackable from mid. And so it's not very safe. It's an easy spot to raid, and it kind of takes a little bit of time for your units to come around and defend your generator, as well as this quote safe expansion around the edge, Mutt's right side is actually very easily raidable from middle, and in general, it's actually the enemy player that's going to get the expansion that is on the same side to raid uh, the safe expansion. So they're just really close to each other, easy access to attack your enemy from multiple sides. I do like that there are water geysers, cliff geysers, that there's gonna be a battle in so many places. It's just such a well designed map. And again, LP Frank made this map. It's really beautiful and has led to some really interesting, unique games.
Absolutely, credit to him. I mean, this is astutely said. Very well set up map. Typically, when players take the safe expansion, they fence it off, and that does curb a lot of aggression. It's pretty effective. And I've found in the games that I've seen and played on this map, mid is just extremely important. And if you can't control mid,
Hmm.
you are pretty much lost immediately. So, Nisprox, as usual, very heavily investing into electricity early. Mutt only 2 rods, so he's not really ready for level 2 yet, but he is building this workshop um, in mid, so he's going to have an early mid presence, and this procs rotating these 5 henchmen to take the other expansion very quickly. Um, so slightly different builders, but they're going to end up with a similar position, just Mutt has a lot less electricity. So,
Yeah,
um,
that's a shockingly amount of difference actually.
yeah,
Mutt
this
gets the
proc already hit a level 2.
yeah, this Brock's got a way earlier level 2. He does get the workshop later, but the amount of coal that these henchmen end up mining from the workshop, a few collections, a few passes, is not going to be as much as the electricity that Nisperox gained from all of those rods and generators. So,
Absolutely, and I mean these warthogs are going to match up superbly well against Mutt's uh, cheater scorps because they have horns, they have regen. Uh, do they do more damage? They don't quite do more damage, but they're they feel like they should do pretty well. But Mutt
yeah.
very wisely opting immediately into the range,
Hmm.
um, and Nisprock's doing the same. So Mutt is making an early play for the generator. This is pretty huge. Nisprock's already taking
Oh
his water
no.
generator, so
This Mutt does not have the resources to keep up units
no.
production, which is not good at all. He
Yeah,
invested a
this
lot into
tower is
these
going to
sound
go down
beams.
fast, but maybe he
Honestly,
can hold it. He does get the generator, so but these artillery are just going to be a massive
oh
thorn in Mutt's side.
no, that is gonna ruin
He
the towers. And Mutt is
yeah,
just not building units. Where are the units coming? And Mutt's building more towers against the artillery. That is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it's Mutt is definitely fortifying. I mean, he's spreading the
It's
towers
gonna go
out
down.
away from the
He needs
generator.
to repair this right
Yeah. Oh,
now.
that's oh, it got down to like 10 health. But these towers are going to do a really good job of slowing Nisprox down in terms of any aggression.
Yeah.
So Mutt is actually in a decent position. Um,
Nisperox does balance the offset because Mutt has the center generator, but Nisperox does have the far right generator.
Absolutely, yeah. So for now, we're actually even in sort of production, and Mutt bringing some hench punch to the party. He's also he's already researched advanced structures, although he has not built a
Oh
clinic for hench
no,
yet.
I think
We'll
this
find
is
that.
looking bad for Mutt. He overinvested those henchmen and lost his pack hunter bonus on his ranged units.
Yeah, this is gonna be rough, but I mean, Nisprox doesn't really have enough of these artillery to knock down the towers as fast as he needs because they only do 4 damage. So I think Nisprox needs to build up a much larger mass. He only has 1 chamber, so he can't
Mutt's
quite
going level
sustain it
3.
economically, but he does have 2 chambers, so he does have that significant advantage. I mean, he is putting so much coal into these towers.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's trying to get a really nice arc on these towers, but it's just
He does have a great
melting,
arc, but
absolutely
that just
melted.
disappeared.
That was
That
not worth
was
it at all.
no, I don't think that that was worth it,
Especially when
especially with the
Nisperox is
region of
fully
it.
staffed at this far right expo, and Mutt is not nearly there right now. I'm really happy that though that Mutt is going for this geyser. That is going to balance him out a little bit, make
Yeah,
this game a little
absolutely.
less one-sided.
That
Because look at all
generator
these units.
will that generator will definitely make a huge difference. I mean, now Nisprox has really built up the mass. He's not going 3 yet? Oh, no. Okay, that was Mutt going 3. All
That
right.
was Mud at level 3, but look how many units Nisperox has. I think that level
Yeah.
3 was a mistake. And
Yeah,
he's not
it
taking
really
this
might
geyser
be.
yet. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he went there to build his water chamber because that's a requirement for his level 3s, clearly. Uh, these belugas are coming out. He's gonna lose his generator, but the belugas are at least a fantastic unit matchup, but he needs something to serve as a front line. These are
Yeah.
not going to survive on their own. Just one tower is not gonna be enough.
He just lost
Nisprox
all those
can,
towers so fast. He didn't get
yeah.
worth out of those towers. He definitely spent more than he destroyed with those towers.
Yeah, I think it did serve its purpose initially to slow down, but now Nisprox happy to take down the generator, and he's now going to rotate
Oh
around
no.
and discover that Mutt does not have this expansion. So
That's
Mutt
gonna
doesn't
lead it
really have much
straight
base
into
either.
lab.
So, yeah, he's just gonna keep running,
That's gonna lead
and
actually straight into these henchmen that are going to try to take that.
yeah, that will be somewhat helpful. The Mutt or Nisprex rather did not only committed 2 units, so that's not a huge problem for Mutt yet. Level 3 coming out, Mutt getting his clinic out. Nisperox, does Nisperox have it already? No, Nisperox doesn't have a clinic yet, so this is much chance to come out ahead economically, but those upgrades do cost, so I mean, this is a lot of belugas.
Yeah, these belugas are
Nisperox,
pretty strong. Nisprox did
yeah,
not convert his advantage,
no,
and
no, he
Mutt now
didn't.
has this expansion down bottom, which is going to give him a slight advantage.
Yeah, and he
And
cleaned up the lab very quickly, or
mhm,
Nisperox retreated, I didn't catch it, but,
no one looking
um,
at gyrocopters yet.
no one yet. No, I mean, no one's this has all been focused in mid. I mean, I was talking about how important this is. If you lose mid, it's very hard to come back because so many resources are here, and it's so easy to raid from there. But, oh no,
Mutt's
Mud is getting
oh
surrounded. His artillery is getting surrounded here, so
yeah, he didn't have that front
just
line. He wasn't
yeah.
building units for quite some time there. Wasn't building henchmen. Not doing any
Yeah,
research
it's
at the
I think
clinic.
he might have been saving up for his resource upgrades, but, this is rough for Mutt right now because he really needs units, and he one of probably Mutt's only weakness, I would say, is he does not use melee units much at all, and so, in situations like this, look how balanced this Prox army is. He has a large mass of relatively beefy melee units. He's got a huge mass of artillery. He's got range. He's got a very balanced army. And Mutt just has range and he just has artillery. And that's just not going to work against these melee. They have charge. And
Wow.
Mutt
Mutt's
asks you for the best of 7, but that
this
is
is
not
it.
how the tournament works, unfortunately. So,
Oh my
ladies and gentlemen, you are
gosh.
looking at the winner
The
of Critter
champion
Clash.
didn't lose a single set. Nisperox. Absolutely dominant showing in Critter Clash 3.
Yeah,
Defeating Mutts
well deserved.
not
Well
only
deserved championship.
early on in the bracket, but again right now in the finals. Really, really incredible play from Nisperox. Newish
Absolutely.
player. This is his first tournament.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's very, very strong performance. I think expected after his 1v1 ranked ladder exploits. But I mean, something I want to draw attention to in this final game, the combat score difference is just massive. I mean, the resources are not actually all that far apart. I mean, slight advantage for Nisperox, but really, I don't think it was that significant. It's just Mutt ended up uh,
Wasn't building
I don't
enough
know.
units. That's
Yeah,
what it
he
comes down
ended up
to.
losing the unit combat
Yeah,
just too strongly,
he
and
put a lot into towers at the beginning there, when I
yeah,
think that Nisperox was building units, and then those towers went down in a flash, and those units
absolutely,
were able to roll in. So with
yeah.
us, we have Mutt in the chat. Mutt, how are you doing?
Hello. Yeah, not too bad. I must admit, I didn't expect to win, but it would have been nice, and I think I gave it a good shot. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you did a fantastic job this tournament. Well, very well played. Definitely, I feel like giving Nisperox a run for his money, certainly. And he just seems to come out on top every time. It's really incredible seeing a newer players to the IC community, online community, come in and be so extraordinarily talented, and especially to really solidify that victory against someone who has been, considered one of the best, if not the best, 1v1 player for the past 10 years, you. So thank you so much for joining in. Do you think that you're gonna start hitting the practice and try to beat Nisperox next tournament?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've got a lot of studying and watching to do. It felt like, I don't know, obviously, from how it looked on the cast, but it did feel like Sandbar and that last one were quite close. So possibly with a few adjustments and just a bit better control. It felt like I was pulled apart too far on Sandbar.
Yeah.
So that one sort of felt like it. That I thought I was in a good position at 2, and then it just kind of started slowly slipping away from me. So I think we're just a bit, yeah, like you say, a bit some more practice, and maybe some more tailored builds, and yeah, can give a better showing next time. But no, well, all fair credit to him, he did very well. So
Yeah, he
good
did a
games.
wonderful job, and it also it's kind of wrapping up the end of 1v1 season with Critter Clash 3. Next, we're going to be looking at 2v2 season and the World Cup. So, if Nisperox joins in the World Cup, do you think that Team England is going to be back?
Yeah, Team England's gonna win. We're going for the triple crown. Nothing's gonna stop that train.
All right. Well, very, very excited to have you again. Thank you so much to you, Mutt. Thank you to all the participants. Unfortunately, it does not look like we have Nisperox here in the chat with us. But this has been absolutely fantastic events. Very excited for World Cup to come up. Davo, do you have any last words?
I'm just very thankful that you organized this, and thankful that I was able to cast this, enjoy these games. Congrats to all participants, and yeah, thank you, Mutt, for the fighting words for Team England. I'm excited to see how that works out, and yeah, I hope to see all of you online soon.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone, take care.